Hello, my name is Matt Harold with the City of Austin's Capital Project Management Group. I'm the project manager for the East Parmer Lane Extension project. On behalf of the City of Austin, in coordination with the Texas Department of Transportation, or TxDOT, I would like to welcome you to the virtual public hearing for the East Parmer Lane Extension. Thank you all for your attendance, and we look forward to receiving your comments. The virtual public hearing for the proposed Breaker Lane project launched on Thursday, January 5th at 5 p.m. and will extend through 11:59 p.m. on Friday, January 20th. The purpose of this public hearing is to provide an update on the project and to receive public input on the proposed improvements. The format of the hearing will include a project and environmental overview of the Breaker Lane project. Following the launch of the presentation, members of the public may submit comments. This project proposes to extend East Breaker Lane from its current endpoint at Dawes Place approximately 3/4 of a mile to Samsung Boulevard. This new roadway would connect to a future Travis County project extending East Breaker Lane from Samsung Boulevard to Harris Branch Parkway. Once complete, the project is expected to reduce congestion on East Parmer Lane. The project is in alignment with the Austin Strategic Mobility Plan, a comprehensive citywide transportation plan adopted in 2019. The purpose of the project is to facilitate congestion management in the corridor, facilitate forecasted traffic, provide a reliable route for transit, and expand safe pedestrian and bicycle transit within the area. The project is needed to increase east to west road capacity in East Austin. Currently, continuous west to east traffic from North Austin is limited to US 290 East and State Highway 734, Parmer Lane, and is inadequate to meet current and future traffic volumes and expected increases driven by continued community growth in the area. The project need includes consistency with local plans, including safe routes to school and infrastructure plan. The proposed typical road section includes 4-lane arterial roadway divided by medians with a median break at Taybeck Drive, center turn lanes for vehicles turning onto Taybeck Drive or Samsung Boulevard from Breaker Lane, sidewalks and bicycle lanes on both sides of the street along the project limits, pedestrian crossing at Taybeck Drive to provide space for people walking, biking, and rolling to cross safely, curb and gutter drainage improvements, and a detention pond for runoff and water quality enhancement. Project design was completed in December of 2022 with permitting still ongoing. This presentation is a part of the TxDOT required environmental assessment, which is required before the project is approved to go to bid. We anticipate procurement of the project to begin in May of 2023, with the construction start anticipated for late summer, early fall of 2023. I will now review the environmental studies completed for the proposed project. Technical reports for each of these studies are available online for public review. As part of the project's compliance with NEPA, air quality, cultural resources, hazardous materials, water resources, biological resources, and social and community impacts within the corridor were assessed. Historical and cultural resource studies determined there to be no previously recorded archaeological or historical sites located within the area of potential effect. Overall, the studies concluded that impacts to environmental resources would be minimal. During the construction phase of this project, temporary increases in particulate matter, PM, and the mobile source air toxic, MSAT, emissions may occur from construction activities. The primary construction-related emissions of PM are fugitive dust from site preparation, and the primary construction-related emissions of MSAT are diesel particulate matter from diesel-powered construction equipment and vehicles. The potential impacts of PM emissions will be minimized using fugitive dust control measures. The contractor will be encouraged to use Texas Emission Reduction Plan, which provides financial incentives to reduce emissions from vehicles and equipment. Construction-related emissions are considered temporary and transient, and fugitive dust control measures will be in effect. And construction will be conducted in compliance with applicable regulatory requirements. Considering the temporary and transient nature of construction-related emissions, the use of fugitive dust control measures, the encouragement of the use of the temporary emissions reduction plan, and compliance with applicable regulatory requirements, it is not anticipated that emissions from construction of this project will have a significant impact on air quality in the area. The proposed project area is undeveloped and historically has been used for agriculture. Adjacent land includes residential development and a Samsung plant approximately 1/2 mile from the project area. No unresolved hazardous material concerns were identified for the proposed site. If contaminated soils are encountered during construction, they will be analyzed to assess the presence or absence of chemicals of concern and disposed of properly. Next, I will discuss the biological resources study. The study found that there is no suitable habitat for state or federally listed, threatened, or endangered species within or adjacent to the project area. The study identified that common urban adapted wildlife, including raccoons, opossums, deer, skunk, squirrels, armadillos, hogs, and various species of reptiles, amphibians, and birds could occur within the project area, even though habitat is of marginal quality for most species. The proposed project would not separate or divide neighborhoods. The property to be acquired is currently undeveloped, and no displacements of residents, business, or other community facilities would result from acquisition. Newly constructed sidewalks and bike paths would enhance neighborhood connectivity and community cohesion by improving access between the Pioneer Crossing West and Pioneer Crossing East neighborhoods, particularly for families attending the Pioneer Crossing Elementary School. This will increase bicycle and pedestrian safety consistent with Capital Area Metropolitan 2040 Regional Transportation Plan, the CAMPO 2040 plan. The project area does not cross any major Austin creeks or tributaries. Surface water runoff from the project right-of-way will be collected and directed to a retention pond south of Breaker Lane and to the west of the tieback extension. The project is not located within the floodplain and is more than 3 miles east of the Edwards Aquifer Transition and Recharge Zone. The project area includes publicly owned land that may be used in the future as a public park. The project would require the acquisition of 2 permanent drainage easements on the park property, south along the project roadway and east along Tieback Drive. These small easements will channel park drainage toward the stormwater system of the project. Per Section 4F of the U.S. Department of Transportation Act, a Section 4F de minimis applicability is being evaluated. Compliance with Chapter 26 regulations is also ongoing, and applicable public notice and hearing requirements will be followed. Chapter 26 public hearing notification will occur independently of this environmental hearing process. The project would require the acquisition of 16.26 acres of right-of-way from 3 parcels, 2.79 acres of permanent easement, and 1.14 acres of temporary construction easements. All right-of-way acquisitions would be completed in accordance with the Uniform Relocation Assistance and Real Property Acquisition Policies Act of 1979, as amended. The right-of-way to be acquired is currently undeveloped, and the proposed project would not result in the displacement of any residences or businesses. The project has reached final design, and project engineers are addressing comments from city and TxDOT reviewers in order to finalize permitting. Once permits are received, right-of-way is acquired, and TxDOT approval is granted, the project will be put out to bid. Currently, we anticipate bidding beginning in May of 2023, with construction start in late summer 2023 or early fall. If you experience technical difficulties with the virtual public hearing, please contact the East Breaker Lane Communications Liaison in the Austin Transportation Department at 512-974-2300. You may also request special accommodations, assistance accessing public hearing information and materials, and language and interpretation needs other than English or Spanish. Please note, discussion with project staff will not be included in the official record of this public hearing. If members of the public wish to submit a comment to be part of the official record of this public hearing, they can do so in several ways, including verbally by calling 512-974-2300 and leaving a voicemail, in writing online by using the web form linked in the public comment section of austintexas.gov/e-breaker-lane, by email to austinmobility@austintexas.gov, or by mail to the Austin Transportation Department, Attention Breaker Lane, P.O. Box 1088, Austin, Texas 78767. All verbal and written comments must be received or postmarked before the end of the comment period at 11:59 p.m. on Friday, January 20th, 2023. Responses to verbal and written comments received will be available online at austintexas.gov/e-breaker-lane once the final report has been approved. Please note that per TxDOT requirements, the City of Austin is not permitted to respond to comments or questions before the official meeting summary is complete.